I totally get it. There's nothing more frustrating than applying yourself really diligently to a detox or cleanse or a 12-week challenge and being really happy with the results. But ultimately, when you go back to normal life, the weight creeps back on, the muscle seems to dissipate, and you're all the way back to where you started again. And then you're left with this real feeling of frustration, like all of that effort was wasted, or worse, that you've failed. And maybe there's something wrong with you, maybe there's something wrong with your body, and it really seems to rob you of all that energy and motivation and enthusiasm to go back through the process again when you think in your head, well, what's the point when it's only going to be short term, or it's going to be so much hard work and so much sacrifice, and that's the way I've got to live forever. And so you're kind of left in this no man's land instead, where maybe you've even said to yourself, well, what's the point? I'm probably going to be overweight forever, so I might as well give up. And so you're eating foods that you know aren't good for you, feeling sluggish, feeling heavy, and beating yourself up because you know you don't have the motivation to do anything about it. Okay, stop. Record scratch, right? I do have good news for you. If you've lost weight in the past and the weight has crept back on once you went back to normal, what it just tells me is that we need to improve your normal. You need a better kind of normal. So instead of always feeling like you have to be on your A game, we want to raise your normal so that you can do a B game or a C game, and it's all you need to maintain all those results you worked so hard for. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 of the most common food faux pas that I see stressed, busy professional women make that keep them feeling frustrated and frumpy and super fatigued. And when you really understand and you can implement these into your lifestyle, you'll find yourself being really naturally gravitated towards healthy foods, healthy habits, and it just doesn't seem to take up much of your thought and concentration or your time either. One of my clients, all she did was actually overcome these food faux pas, and over a 6-month period, she lost 10 kilos, and all she was really doing was eating more of the good stuff and going for a 30-minute walk every morning. But that's not just like a rare example. I've had hundreds of clients implement these strategies and found that, within 6 weeks, they've dropped a pant size or a belt notch. And they did it without obsessing or restrictive dieting, and they even still got to eat chocolate and drink wine and eat cake. It just wasn't that big of a deal. Okay, so the 3 biggest problems that I find most busy professional women when they're struggling with these issues is, 1, it's just super confusing. There's so much conflicting information. I mean, look, I just read an email from a dietitian that I really admire, and then it completely contradicted the information that I received from a naturopath I really respect. So the actual cue here is that there is no one size fits all, and there's a greater strategy. There's a greater component that's not just about your eating habits. And what we actually want to do is increase your intuition, your head, heart, gut connection, so that you can start to actually get in tune with what your body needs the most. Okay, and so this brings me to my second point, is that for many busy, stressed women, they're always in their head. They're overanalyzing things. They're running mental to-do lists all the time, and their schedule is like packed full. So as a result, it's like they're disconnected from the head down, from the neck down, right? So therefore, you're not getting the signals from your body to actually understand what would be right for your body. So, you might be having an upset stomach and not knowing exactly when it happened or what foods are causing it. You might be constantly waking up feeling tired and you just don't know why. It might be that you're, pushing through lunch and you're not eating mindfully, and as a result, you don't really recognize what actual hunger is until you're ravenous, because you've either gone too long just eating when you're not hungry, or not eating at all until you're starving. And so it's really hard to eat intuitively when you actually don't have an intuition, you don't have a clear channel from your head, heart to your gut actually supporting you in your body, feeding you those signals. And so the third problem is this all or nothing mindset. And so when you're really hardworking, you're successful at what you do, you're used to going at things like a bull out of the gate. But what happens is it creates a pendulum effect. It means that you start robbing from either your family life or your career or other things that are really important that need your attention. And so health becomes kind of this, just another thing to add to your to-do list. It feels like it has to require a bunch of mental thought and concentration and obsession. And as a result, it never is sustainable. When ultimately you actually want health to be running on in the background. You actually want to have that B and C game happening automatically, effortlessly. And so just as an example of who you are as a person, you happen to do these things and it's not a big deal. Okay, so here are 3 of the most common food faux pas I see women make. And this is from studying hundreds and hundreds of food diaries over the years. So the first one is being too good or too bad. So kind of thinking this idea is less is best. So when you've had diets in the past, it's always been about this intellectual equation, right? I'm going to eat 1,200 calories a day because that's the weight loss number I need, or this app is what's telling me I need to do that, and I must stick to that, and either it equates to that calories in, calories out, or it doesn't. So it's either success or failure. When actually your body is more complex than that. Counting calories in itself, the way they actually measure a calorie isn't very accurate. And so as a result, when ladies cut their calories too much, they actually set themselves up to overeat later on down the track. So when you think you're being good, you're actually being way too good and setting yourself up for a binge later on down the track. And then those feelings of failure and guilt as well. Number 2 is not enough protein. So if you're even trying to do a lot of exercise and having this thought that less is best, if you're not eating enough protein that will actually allow the repair and regeneration of your muscles, your body will just start cannibalizing the muscle that you have already. And that will actually make your metabolism slow down. It's almost like a skinny fat, right? When you're not eating enough protein, your body just doesn't have the actual macronutrients to feel really satisfied, to build muscle, to sculpt lean tissue, and to feel satisfied for longer. And as a result, you'll have these signals that will come and it will seem like, oh, I need to go get McDonald's or KFC or something like that. And so it actually means that your body is malnourished. So it's not getting the macronutrients it needs to sustain and support a healthy weight. And number 3 is not enough fiber. So really thinking about your green fibrous vegetables. So your cruciferous vegetables, things like broccoli and bok choy and spinach and kale, all those foods that actually allow your body to feel satisfied. It stretches your stomach because it's low calorie, high volume food. It makes you feel fuller for longer, and it allows you to metabolize and digest your food and become a much clearer channel, so you're not so feeling stodgy and stuck. By really making those greens a big bulk of what you eat, you're actually allowing your body to eat more in order to weigh less.
Now, just so you know, what we've been talking about today is just one step in a greater system, my body confidence blueprint. Now, these are the exact steps that help high-performing women in business go from feeling frumpy and frustrated in sweatpants to in control and confident in a swimsuit. Now, this step we've been talking about today lies in the foundational phase. This is where we help you build in the key habits to a healthy lifestyle and get lasting results without all the overwhelm and confusion. And specifically, we've been talking about your food flexibility. Instead of always restricting, we're going to be adding. We're going to focus on creating the positive behaviors that crowd out the negative ones.
So those are 3 of the 6 most common food faux pas that I see really busy, professional and stressed out women make when it comes to their eating habits. But there are 6 that I see repeated over and over again. So I've actually got a really cool guide that shows you even some examples of what some of these ladies' food diaries look like in pictures. So you can actually download that by pressing a link or a button around this video and grab that for yourself. And just by making those small changes, you will be upgrading your normal so it's a better kind of normal.